Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Papi from girlschase.com. Today I want to respond to the now numerous, it was this morning that I saw the third video from Mr. Moist Penguin. And at this point I just had to respond simply for the sake of responding, because obviously it's very important to him to get my attention. And so here I am. Now, after watching the videos, I thought about doing a response video where I watch him and then comment on what he's saying. And then at 30 minutes through that, it was just too much. And I was like, okay, well, half the time I'm just looking. And then half the time when something approaches what might be called criticism, or at least implicit criticism, where he disagrees with something and then I explain myself, I realized it was gonna be an hour-and-a-half video. So I was kind of lost as to what to do and how to respond. And then I realized the answer is very simple. He's just insulting. And when someone's insulting, in person, there's a way to deal with it. There's many ways to deal with it. But over the internet, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. And I realized this when I remembered trying to engage the little penguins in the comment section. And so they would comment an insult, take your pick. Gay, loser, simp, creepy, restraining orders, you harass women, whatever fucking accusation they want to throw at me. And I would say, do you want to discuss something specific, you know, that was in the video that you think is creepy or you think is losery or you think is virgin? That was the big one, virgin. And I think I only had 2 legitimate discussions. The rest of the time I was like, hey, do you want to discuss something? And they're like, fuck you. I'm like, okay. Imagine that happening in person, you know? When you want to think about the internet, just like put it in person and then you'll see kind of how it really is what's going on. So, hey, you're creepy. Okay, can you explain maybe what you mean? Fuck you. Okay, you're creepy. Or what was I getting? I was like, can you elaborate? They're like, well, if I have to explain, then that means you need more help than I could even say. Okay, well, seems like there's just insultception, just fucking insults all the way down. And then I realized that was Charlie's video. There was a few things where he was like, well, that's not how it works. And then I was like, well, I don't know what your position is, right? And that's the power of having a critical position. You're criticizing, but then you don't posit something on your own. There's like an implicit, well, you're wrong and I know the truth. But where's your truth? So, if you want to play the insult war, you can play with yourself. You can play with your girlfriend. I don't want to play that game. If you want to discuss something, if you have actual responses to what I was talking about and you'll explain your position on how it works, then we can have a discussion. If not, like I said, you can play. Secondly, I noticed that people were a little bit critical, and not even critical, didn't even rise to that level, but they were very angry about, I can make assumptions and psychoanalyze what I think they're angry about and, my personality, the way I come off. I totally understand. I'm very polarizing. I actually am not surprised at all that people are shitting on me. I kind of expected it. And if I can't handle it, I shouldn't be on the fucking internet. But I didn't see anything actually critical, but I did see an underlying sense of, this is strange because you're over explaining it and you're being too mechanical and it's sociopathic and it's strange and it's weird. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's kind of an elephant in the room to discuss, does she want to fuck me? And, what do I have to do to make her suck my dick? I see how that can come off weird because just based on that, it's weird. Or like how to touch a girl, how to give a girl an orgasm. It just kind of seems like, it's just a cringe phrase. It's hard to make it not cringe. And I think a lot of times I fail at that, not making it cringe, because it's just a cringe topic. It's talking about sex. It makes people uncomfortable. It's like when you're in a room with people and the sex scene comes on TV. It's like, especially if your parents are watching with you, you're like, oh, this is fucking awkward. I get it. So what I want to say to that, it's an instructional video. It's about an already taboo subject, so we've already got cringe points there. And then you have my personality, which sometimes can be a bit polarizing. But then on top of that is I'm explaining things in a mechanical way, and so that comes off way too detached, and people say it's sociopathic. But it's an instructional video. I'm trying to explain how things work, and in order to explain them, I have to explain the systems behind how they work. It's not like there's a math system going on. It's like, okay, well, you got +1 value and -1 funny, so she's gonna suck Todd's dick today. It's like, no, that's not how it works. It's obviously very intuitive and emotional, and I'm pretty sure I get that across, but apparently not with some people. Don't know if that's a communication failure on my part. Maybe I could work on how I communicate, but I think it's very much an interpretation problem and blind problem where they know what they want to see and it's tunnel vision all the way down. But when you are explaining the mechanism behind someone dancing, for instance, you can explain it with physics, you could explain it with biology, how their muscles are working, you can explain it with chemistry, I don't know, fucking math. There's a lot of different ways and angles you can come at you can draw it, right? There's a lot of different arts and sciences that can be pointed at the subject itself, the dance, someone dancing. But those analyses and those framings of the dance doesn't make it not a dance. It's still a dance. It's beautiful, it's artistic, it's intuitive. And you could say that, oh, that's nerdy, or that's creepy, or that's sociopathic. No, we're just explaining the processes behind the dance, but it doesn't make the dance not a dance. So at the end of the day, when you're talking to girls or hanging out with friends, you're not like having a Dragon Ball Z fucking scanner and like, okay, what's my power level? I need to get +5 power levels so I can get a blowjob, or she can maybe touch my pee-pee because I haven't been touched in 5 months, right? It's not like that. You're paying attention to body language, facial expressions, you're feeling it intuitively, but a lot of people don't have that intuitive sense. Certain people have certain disorders where they don't feel those social interactions. I've had a lot of clients who have Asperger's or autism, and so they literally don't get it. Not because there's nothing wrong with them, they just are built differently, and that's fine, but you have to adapt that kind of teaching. And when you explain things mechanically, it can seem like your whole worldview is that. But that's just us drawing a sketch of the dance so that you can understand how the dance is made up, each stroke, each step. But the dance is still a dance, and the dance is beautiful and intuitive and emotional. And so if you feel like instructional videos take away from the magic of that connection and that language of the heart and the mind and the soul and personality and feeling, whatever the fuck you want to explain it as, it doesn't. It's just a different frame of reference. And it's an instructional frame of reference, because if everyone knew how to do the dance, you wouldn't need to teach them how to dance. But there are dance classes, and dance instructors, and people who are better at dancing and worse at dancing. And I, from my experience, learned how to dance. And again, you can insult me all you want, but the proof in me knowing how to dance is because what I teach works, right? So all the insults in the world aren't going to change what I've experienced. And even further, all the insults in the world aren't going to change that my advice works. So if you truly want to test it out, go and test it out. But genuinely and sincerely try to test it out. But if you're not willing to do that, then okay, maybe you already have experience, but then you have to give your counter argument, not an insult. Lastly, I want to discuss what I would call cringe culture. We obviously live in a society. We live in a culture and a society where everything's filmed, everything's recorded. And so the potential for cringe and embarrassment is very, very high. And when you're talking about something like sex and romance, you have a high potential for cringe. And because there's so much inherently cringy about romance, because it very often involves a guy risking his shame and his sense of confidence for that moment or that day or weeks, depending on how hard he takes the rejection, because he's willing to walk up to that girl and say, "Hi, I think you're really pretty. What's your name?" Because that's what I teach. It's very simple. You walk up to another human being, you tell them what you find attractive about them, and you have a discussion. And you get to know them and they get to know you. And you try to elicit values from each other and see if you connect and see if you guys are physically attracted to each other. How does the dance work between you two? That is a really risky thing to do. And so if you take the position of the cringe audience member who's watching, right? Look at him, he just got rejected. Yeah, he took a chance and he maybe didn't do it that well, but he's gonna get better by practicing. And he's gonna practice with girls he genuinely finds attractive, right? He sees a pretty girl, go talk to her. Doesn't work out, Okay, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, he's talking to his friends. He sees another pretty girl. Oh, but this time this girl gave him a look. Okay, maybe she's interested. Go and talk to her. Oh, she is interested. Talk. But then 10 minutes go by and he's like, fuck, I ran out of things to say. And she's like, okay, well, I gotta go find my friends, or I gotta go to the bathroom. He's like, okay, I know what that means. He goes back and his friends are like, hey, how'd it go? Like, you know, it was going all right. And then, I don't know, I froze. Damn, next time, right? Then he goes home and he thinks about it. He's like, fuck, you know, I feel really bad. I'm home alone, jerking off, you know, I got rejected. But the art of the dance is looking back on your experience and learning from it. Well, I wasn't really listening to her. She said this. Oh, I could have just totally asked her this. There's an art to it. And you learn it by risking embarrassment. But you're never going to even get to that part if you're not willing to get off the chair, in the sofa, or behind your computer and actually go and meet a girl. So for my viewers and those who want to get better with girls, who want to get better with people in general, and become a more social person, a more extroverted person, or not even extroverted, an introverted person, but who has the ability to make friends or to find girls that like him and want to date him and have sex with him and have relationships and go through that messy, chaotic dance that is romance and sex, you're gonna have to go out and embarrass yourself. And even if you have the best information out there, you're still gonna fuck up, and that's okay. As long as you're constantly being aware of your actions and what you say and what you're thinking, and also aware of that person's emotions and how they're feeling and if they're comfortable or they're not comfortable, and then adjusting to that, and then if you find there's no thing, there's no fucking spark, then it's over. That's fine. And then you go out and you find someone who is gonna give you that. You try again and again and again, and you get rejected again, and then you have success, and you get rejected and you have success, and then maybe you get a girlfriend, and then maybe that's it. Or maybe you guys are together for a certain amount of years and then break up. I don't know how your life is gonna go, but you're gonna have to risk embarrassment. So if you don't wanna risk that embarrassment and you don't wanna risk possibly saying something cringe and saying something offensive, then don't play. You don't have to play. If you do wanna play, then let's have some fun. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, learn how to get girls, how to talk to girls, and actually try out what I teach. And if you don't want to, that's fine, insult me all you want. I really don't know how to respond to them anymore. I don't want to play that hate game anymore. But if you just want to watch, and you want to watch me play, then you can sit there and watch and you can cringe.